Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our city. It's June 4th of 2019, and you know, yesterday I was writing, signing timesheets, and I kept writing 1999. I don't know where that's coming from, but it was there. Ignore that. Hey, I want to welcome all of you to our city tonight. We are here at City Hall. We have a couple of wonderful guests with some great information to share. Before we get to that, though, I'd like to share a ribbon cutting we did the other day at the Muscatine Sportsplex. Oh my goodness, if you haven't been there, the Meekers have completely redone the old Washington School. It's fabulous in there. You look at this carousel, a full-size carousel right in the middle of the building. You can rent this out for birthday parties. You can have different activities, clubs, groups there. They have huge jumping equipment and bounce houses and batting cages, all kinds of things. You can have a party there. You could have a gathering there. It's a really nice facility, all modernized, and congratulations to them on all the work they did. And I really think one thing that really touches my heart about it is this is a school where so many children have grown and evolved and learned and have enjoyed their time at, and now the building is still being able to be used for children and families, and that's something that I really appreciate. Well, thank you to them, and thank you to our next guest. So we have Frank Iliff here, and you all know that he does Rebuilding Together. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you very much.
Well, hey, we need to know more about Rebuilding Together. What's the skinny? How did this start?
Well, it started in 2007. I worked for Monsanto at that time, and I delivered Meals on Wheels. And this one lady said, Frank, you like to build things. I said, sure do. She said, well, do you know of any of these seniors that we deliver meals to could use something a little more? And I said, Mr. Warning Clark needs a new porch. And she said, well, find out how much it'll cost. And I said, okay, and found out it cost about $850. So I got it approved through the Monsanto board of everybody that needed to be in on it. And we went in and put a new porch for him in October of 2006. Well, I'm sorry, 2005, I believe it was. Anyway, the next year they said, let's do it again. So I went to Senior Resources and asked the lady there at the time, said, who of your seniors needs some help the most? And she said, oh, John Malone up here on Mulberry. He needs a new porch new roof on his porch. Okay, let's go find out how about that. So we went ahead and did that, put a new porch on for him, a new porch roof, and fixed it all up for him. And then my wife heard about Rebuilding Together Quad Cities and on the Paula Sands show. So we contacted them and found out how to get a hold of Quad Cities Rebuilding Together group, and they came down and talked to us. At the same time, about the same time, my boss knew about Leadership Muscatine. So she put me in for the Leadership Muscatine class, and I went through that process. And in March of 2007, we were affiliated as part of the national organization. And then in April of 2007, we did our first two projects. Both ladies named Dorothy up here. One of them on. Anyway, Dorothy was she lived in the house 78 years. Had been born there, and didn't know how to fix things. Couldn't afford to fix things, and so we went in and I don't remember now what all we did do. Put a 24-foot of sidewalk in, I know, and tore out an old rose bush. Her bathroom sink hadn't drained in years. She didn't know who to call. Couldn't afford a plumber, so we went in and tore that all out and put a new bathtub or bathroom sink in for her and fixed all the piping, new kitchen faucet, and fixed that up, and then painted her bathroom. Then the other lady, Dorothy, also, she was 90 years old, and we went in and painted her bedroom hot pink because that's what she wanted. I know, and we put a ceiling fan in. I didn't ask any questions. I just said, okay, and she had a yard party. Well, while we were cleaning up her house and the guy that was redoing her kitchen cabinets, we tore out the old ones and put new ones in, and he got to fighting with something under the cabinets and came carrying out a possum. And she said, I know I'd been hearing something at nighttime and I didn't know what it was. Well, the reason why it was even in there is the bottom of her door in her coming onto her porch was missing the bottom panel. So we put a new door on it for her, fixed the back porch, the flooring, and made it safe for her to be there. New kitchen cabinets, countertop, of course, and faucets and all that.
Well, where does the funding come from?
The funding comes from, at that time, I knew some people who worked at Bandag, and they gave me some startup funding.
Wow. And
so that really helped us out a lot.
Sure.
I think it was $500 from Monsanto, applied to and got, I think it was $100 from Community Foundation that year. And then I found out just different ways, and every year I apply for every grant that I can think of. We're connected with the Muscatine Housing Authority, and or the cluster, they call it.
Sure.
So I get money from the IFA, and I try to get money from the Community Foundation.
Right.
And Muscatine Charities, and anyone and everyone that we can think of. If I can write a letter and say, can you send us money, then I'll do it. That's what I do.
Is there any annual fundraiser?
We do not have we did have trivia for a few years.
I thought I went to one of those. But it just kind of
plateaued and fell off. And we haven't done one in a couple of years now.
Okay.
We need to get some type of fundraiser. Fundraisers are kind of tricky. You got to know your audience.
Yep.
You got to know who's going to be there and how much to go for. And and they can be a bust.
Yes, they
We've
can.
had fundraisers where we actually lost money.
Sure.
And that's not what you want to do when you're a nonprofit.
Or spend all your time and hardly make anything
Exactly.
when you could have been
Yeah.
promoting services.
So we're looking for ideas on a fundraiser, see what
Sure.
we can do. I'm talking with people and trying to put together something called a Taste of Muscatine, and working with different restaurants, get a venue centrally located, and get a taste of Muscatine and have different people. Maybe there's different ways to go about doing it.
Sure.
Dinner with a celebrity. You get city council people or the mayor, of course, and you have them with a chef from a different restaurant. They fix up the meal and do the serving and the whole bit. There's different things
Oh, how fun.
that we've done before,
Sure.
or thought about before, but we never have let them materialize yet.
Right.
But we're in the process of doing things like that. Yeah.
What a wonderful program, though, that
Right,
helps
yeah.
people.
We're
And
trying to,
anything that
yeah.
helps them be able to stay in their home
Right,
as opposed to going into a care facility.
Right.
How much better for them to have that continuity.
See, we're connected with Iowa Compass, which is a clearinghouse for everyone that might need an emergency services in their homes. So they contact me, such as a lady from Iowa City, a nurse contacted me. They wanted to release this lady that had ALS, but they couldn't send her home until they put a ramp in. So I'm on the phone then, calling everybody I could think of, and we went and put a ramp in on Tuesday, and they brought her home on Wednesday. And she was 33 years old, and she lived there the rest of her days.
How nice.
But we've put in, I don't know how many ramps now, I've lost track, but we've done about 110 projects since 2007.
Goodness.
We've done everything from ramps to bathrooms to kitchens. We've completely remodeled kitchens where the flooring was literally rotted away. We go in and put new floor joists in and make the people safe, warm, and independent. We've replaced furnaces in homes. One house up here on the hill, we replaced the furnace, the kitchen countertop, 4 doors in the home, a vanity in the bathroom, and painted all the trim around all the windows. And by what we did, he was able to go get a low-interest loan and put the siding on the house and have his neighbors help him roof it.
Where it was in such bad shape before they wouldn't
Exactly.
even give him a loan.
He couldn't get a loan till we did what we did.
Okay.
Because if you give me $100, I'll put $400 of value back into the community.
You bet.
Because of the volunteer services that we have. So you figure we put $250,000 back into the community in our time. And the value is beyond that.
Oh, sure.
But we widen bathroom doors so you get a wheelchair in and out. We cut away the side of a bathtub. I work with, it used to be Safe Steps. They send us, because of the Rebuilding Together national organization, we get them at a great discount, but we can go into a clawfoot, or not a clawfoot, we never have done one of those, but a cast iron tub or a fiberglass tub, and we can cut out the side, and then we put this apparatus in that they lift up and they can get it, step in, and put it in behind
really?
them.
I've never heard of that.
And then sit down. Yeah, we just put one in the end of April, and it helps people, because the worst thing you can do is fall in a bathtub.
Oh, yeah.
One time we put one in, and the guy stand there crying. The brother and sister lived together, and he's crying. And I said, "Why are you crying?" And he said, "This is the first time in years that I can get in and take a bath without worrying about falling down and having my sister come pick me up." Well, I've got 4 sisters, and I cannot imagine neither one of them wanting to pick me up out of a bathtub.
Yeah.
They'd be laughing too hard. But
Well, just
it's what we do. We keep people safe. We keep them in their homes.
Yeah. Just the independence from that. Just this weekend, my mother has MS and struggles to get in and out, and she was struggling with getting in and out of her bathtub at Hershey Manor, stepping over. And so we moved her to one of the handicapped accessible apartments where you could walk right into the tub.
Yeah.
And just that is making her so much more independent.
Sure.
It's something that many of us would just overlook, just stepping into a bathtub. How much of a problem could that be? But it really is a handicap to people that have a disability.
We worked with a family out in West Liberty that he was 47 at that time and had been thrown off a horse. He was paralyzed from chest down. He could just move his arms, nothing up from the waist down. And so we went in, and they had been renting a ramp that it was too steep for him to get up or down by himself, and too narrow also. But we went in and took that one apart, took it away, and then built one for him. We brought him out of the house, turned it, and brought it down to a 180, and then down onto back to the sidewalk. And so he's in his motorized scooter, and he's got just the arm controls, the hand controls, and he takes off and goes up the sidewalk by himself. He turned around and came back, and he didn't speak any English, but he motions to me, and I went to him, and he grabbed me, just a bear hug, and just was laughing and crying. And his family's all up on the porch, and they're laughing and they're crying. This is the first time in 2 years he'd been out by himself. 47-year-old man. We gave him independence.
What a job you have, Frank.
Oh, there's a lot of
tears shed. It must be
shed.
so rewarding.
My shirts get soaked by the end of the day.
Oh,
they really
my
do.
goodness.
The tears. And that's all we accept. We charge the homeowners nothing. We just help them become independent. We help them to be able to be safe in their own home.
How do they access your services?
We have a website that you pull up, rebuildingtogethermuscatine.org. That's our homepage website, and then we're on Facebook, but then word of mouth. If I help you out and we do a ramp for you, then you tell your neighbor or you tell somebody at church, you ought to see what this group did for us. It's just the way that it is.
That is just amazing. I can't imagine how it must feel for you to be able to help people in this way.
It's so rewarding.
Oh, it's gotta be.
I've been told that I'm a fool because I don't charge. I don't do it for that. You don't make money as a nonprofit anyway.
No.
If you're wanting to make money, you become a doctor or a lawyer, but you don't make it with a nonprofit. But we need the money to run the business because we have overhead.
Well, sure.
Have you bought printer ink lately?
Yeah.
It's just all of our expenses has
Sure.
to be paid for. And our materials have to be purchased to do the ramps, to paint the houses,
Sure.
to do whatever we do.
So the community can help by providing
Please.
the funds for you to be able to do the services for
Right,
them.
yes.
That's where our community really works, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. And Muscatine is such a great. It's the first time I've considered myself with a real hometown. We've been here 30 years now, and it's my hometown.
Sure.
The people in Muscatine. This past April 27th, here it is. It's pouring down rain like only Iowa gets, and these people just kept. Honey, how many we have? 85 or so, 87 people. 87 people came to work that day, and I gave them the option. I said, we can cancel this. It's up to the house captains. If they want to cancel it, no harm, no foul. And each one of these teams said, we're here to do it, and we're going to work.
So what
And
did
they
you do
came and
that
worked.
day?
Well, we put in 3 ramps, finished off those. We did the bathtub.
In the pouring down rain?
In the pouring down rain. These guys, they brought tents, and they set up their tents to get them out of the weather. And but we did the bathtub out on Kelly Avenue and put a high-rise toilet in for him. And then tore apart the bathroom here in town and completely tore it out and down to the floor joist and rebuilt that. Now that wasn't all done on that one day.
Sure.
That took several days of working at it. And then but the one on Kelly was done in that day. So
Do you have volunteers then that come
we
and
have
help
it's
you?
all volunteer services. Yeah, it's all
So
volunteers.
you have a whole group of people that come
Right.
together and help
Yeah.
you.
We have a board of directors. I'm the ED of it. We have president. We need a vice president. We could really use a vice president. But we have a secretary, and we have board advisors. I have a business advisors, and we have a project manager, and then each project has its own house captain. And that captain answers to the project manager answers to me, and I answer to the board. So
Okay.
it's all controlled.
Well-oiled machine,
We try to
helping everybody.
Hope so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You stop in my office sometime. I'll show you our display board
I would love
and
to.
show you more about what we do.
I would love to.
My daughter says Dad's got 100 projects and he's got 100 stories. And I can tell you some stories that will break your heart.
Oh, I bet
can
you
tell you
could.
about a house that we went into we were just going to winterize it. And 3 weeks before the day of winterization, we got a call. The lady's 14-year-old daughter had been diagnosed with spinal cancer. And so on that day, it became 4 ramps. And these guys flew in and put them together. And they says, why are we doing this? And I pulled them all around together, all the volunteers, and I said, the one guy says, I thought we were just going to put plastic on the windows and fix this place. And I said, this is what happened. And I told them, and I've got a yard full of guys, they're probably 15, 20 grown men, and I said, this little girl has got spinal cancer. her mama can't bring her home until we get a ramp from that garage to the ground, widen the sidewalk, get a ramp up from there to the porch, reinforce the porch, another wedge to the mudroom, and from the mudroom on up into the house. We've got to do that today so she could bring her little girl home. And she brought her home, and she lived 3 weeks. And so that's what we do.
But she got to spend it in her home.
Exactly, with her mama. So we affect people's lives in ways that you have no idea. One guy called me because we had done an emergency at his house, and he called me at work, and I could tell by his voice that he was crying. And I said, Bill, what's wrong? And he said, you don't have a clue as to what you do. And I said, well, I kind of hope I try to. And he said, no, you people come along and you do your ramp business, and then you drive away and you leave the homeowner there. Well, I'm the homeowner that you left there. And let me tell you, last night, my wife had another attack. She had COPD, CPOD, that she couldn't breathe. He said, before you guys came, I'd had to call my son, and he would take about an hour to get there because he's got a young family he's got to take care of. He can't just leave. So by the time he would get to us, it'd be an hour, hour and a half would go by, and I'm standing there watching my wife suffer. He said, last night, I took my wife and put her in the van and drove her to the hospital by myself, and then I called my son. We were there, and she was being treated before he came to the hospital. He said, you can't know what you do to people. You can't know how you affect people's lives. He said, you put in your ramps, but you affect people so deep. I said, Bill, I'm at work, and I can't go in the control room crying.
Well, yeah.
And he's going, well, Frank, I don't know what you're going to do, but I just had to tell you that you really do affect people. And I said, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that call. So, yeah. Sometimes it's a life and death thing. We've got to help people. If you're not helping people, why are you here? That's the way I look at it. You've got everybody you meet, you can teach and you can learn something from, and you can help, or they can help you. Everyone you meet. That's the way I look at it. We're here for a purpose, and our purpose is to help those around us. And if you're not helping somebody, why are you here?
What a wonderful outlook, Frank. I mean, you just, I'm so glad that you chose Muscatine to be your hometown. I mean, look at how many people you have touched their lives and made things be better.
We really try.
We need you here. Most definitely.
Boy, it's hot in here.
Well,
my face is red. I know it is under this.
Well,
gray fuzz.
I can't even begin to thank you enough for all of the people who, I mean, it's just amazing to hear the stories, and you are so humble when you talk about all of the things that you have done. I can't imagine how you can just go from one project to another just in our community, and I bet you can't still get to everybody.
No, I've got 5 applications on my desk right now.
Oh, goodness.
That I can't reach.
Yeah.
I can't get to because I don't have the funding and I don't have the people. If I had a crew, I could be on the phone every day of the week. If I could get a crew, say, can you go to this address and do this? If I could get the funding that goes behind it, because it has to be paid. Menards doesn't take credit. But if I could get a crew, I could put them to you every day of the week. There's things in this town that need done, and that's our tagline, is it just needs done.
Yeah.
And it does, you know.
So we need to get the word out more, because I know Muscatine is a giving community, not only giving of their money, but giving of their time and talents. And if they know that there's a need, they'll step up. I just know they will.
Right.
And so we need to do a good job of getting the word out there so that people know. Write those checks and send them in.
I appreciate that very much.
You bet.
Very much. Yeah. And we're a 501c3, so all of our donations are tax-free. You know, you get them back on your income tax. So,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it's a win-win.
Seems like it to me. You know.
There's no loss here at all. And I am sure that the Community Foundation, Muscatine Charities, all these organizations are interested in continuing funding, but you need more and more.
We need, right now, like I said, I got 5 projects on
Yeah,
my desk
yeah.
that we couldn't get to.
We need to get to them.
Need the people, and
Yeah.
there's one up here on Lynn Street. This year we just could not get to it. We need to. It's a definite dire need. We just didn't have the people to put it in place. Yeah.
So can people volunteer short-term and long-term?
There's sometimes if I can get somebody for just a day.
Really?
Yeah. If we build our ramp sections ahead of time,
Uh-huh.
this past year, due to the courtesy of a young lady named Lynn Kirby, teacher at middle school, she brought students called Students at Risk, 8 at a time, and we had them build sections for our ramps, put them up in our pole barn for storage, and then when we need a ramp, then we know ahead of time, the guys go and plan it out. You're going to need one of these, you're going to need one of those, you're going to need 3 of those, and you're going to need one of these.
Handy.
And so we have those
Sure.
already. We build the Minnesota Ramp Building System is what it's called. They're built modular, and so that we could take them apart if we need to. But we have the students or other people come along and build ramp sections. Then on that day, then we just load the trailer with what we
Quick.
need and go.
Sure.
We could put a ramp in from start to finish in 5 or 6 hours, depending on the complexity
Wow.
of it. Yeah. And that person can get out of their house now safely.
Now, is your office over on Hauser?
Yes, it is. 1424B Hauser Street.
In the old annex?
The old
From
annex.
Crossroads?
Right.
Okay.
Right. My truck's there, stop in.
So when are you there?
I'm there, well, I've retired now.
Uh-huh.
Right, honey?
Yeah, sure you have.
I've retired and went right into Rebuilding Together full-time.
Okay.
And so I'm there a lot. I'm working on this house from the city up here, 7th of Mulberry.
Yes.
Getting that ready to go too. We're ready to start painting on the inside, so we'll be good to go on that. But I'm usually there at the office.
Okay.
I'm trying to get it straightened out. So
So if you see a vehicle there, you're
if
there.
it's my gray Ford truck is there, I'm there.
You're there.
Okay.
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 Thank you so much, Frank, for all the wonderful things you do in Muscatine.
It is my pleasure. It really is. Yeah.
It must be.
Yeah.
It must be, just to see the look on people's faces when you get done.
Yeah. There's a lot of tears.
Oh, I bet there are. I couldn't do it because I wouldn't be able to see straight.
Can you come and talk? Can you come and sit and talk with somebody?
Sure.
Because part of our job is an ambassador. An ambassador just comes into the home and they talk with the homeowner while the workers are working.
Sure.
And that keeps the homeowner from being over their shoulder.
Of course.
A lot of our homeowners, not all of them, but a lot of them are elderly widow ladies. And they just need someone to sit and talk.
Sure.
And so an ambassador is a go-between, a liaison, if you will, between the workers and the homeowners.
Sure.
And those are very important positions.
Well, and when you're trying to work on stuff, and you really need to concentrate on what you're doing and not have anybody near that could get hurt. And
Exactly.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so if you'd like to be an
Yeah.
ambassador, we'll sure sign you up.
All right. Sounds great to
Get
me.
a photo op out of it, too.
Oh, sure. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Frank. I love this program. It's an
You're sure
amazing
welcome.
program.
Yeah.
And we are so lucky that we have it here.
Thank you.
So people
Yeah.
can go on your website, people can go on your
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Right.
They can donate their time, money, talent. They
Yes.
can come sit and be an ambassador.
Yeah.
I'll take a turn doing that, you can bet.
Okay.
Get a hold of you anytime, right?
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Can't thank you enough. Well, we are going to transition to our next guest, but in the meantime, I wanted to share with you about Second Saturday. We already had one Second Saturday in May, and now this coming Saturday, June 8th, is the next Second Saturday. So I haven't heard yet what the theme is going to be, but they usually have some type of different theme each week. We should have a flyer coming up here. There we go. So this says June 10th, and it should be June 8th. So I don't know, that must be a typo on this, but it's June 8th, this coming Saturday, second Saturday. They always have art stuff, they always have music, they always have food vendors, and of course you're welcome to go shop all around. It'll be a great time, and more they're having people come, bring their entire family, and have a really good time. The next thing I wanted to talk about, right on the same lines, is the summer concert series. So that is the second Sunday. So that's going to be June 9th, which is this Sunday. Dave Ellis and friends, they play Americana music some folk in classic rock. They're going to be set up down at the library, and that starts at 6 p.m. You can see over the river, so you don't have to worry too much about being flooded out, as we've all had to worry about this whole year. So great opportunities this weekend. Second Saturday, second Sunday. Don't miss either one of those. And now we want to welcome Pete DeGabriele from Senior Resources. Welcome, Pete.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thanks so much for coming. So this is your third or fourth cook-off?
This is our sixth, actually.
Sixth?
Yes,
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. We got a little different venue this year. We've had, in the past, we've had like a barbecue contest.
Uh-huh.
But this year we're going to try to cater to the public a little bit more and make sure they get fed well. So
what are you going to do?
we're going to do basically hamburgers, hot dogs, brats, that type of thing, baked beans,
Okay.
maybe pasta salad.
Uh-huh.
In the past years, these competitors that would come in, they were more interested in getting their prize money as opposed to feeding our
And
public.
opposed
yeah.
to feeding.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
well, you can understand that, but so
Sure.
we're gonna try to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of things will be going on then?
Okay, we'll have a raffle for some big prizes from newcomers and friends of the community.
Okay.
There'll be a silent auction for a car wash and a tanning session,
Uh-huh.
and possibly for some Hansher Auditorium event
nice.
tickets. Yeah.
Sure.
So,
So is there going to be games,
there'll be games
activities?
for kids. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's from 11 to 1
11 to 1
on Saturday.
This
Right
Saturday.
here at City Hall.
Right.
Right out in the front lawn.
200 block of East 3rd Street will be auctioned or blocked off, and
Okay.
so once the farmers market ends, we'll pick up.
You're going to pick up as
Yeah.
soon as the farmer's
Yeah,
market's over.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So folks could probably park in that parking lot after the farmer's market
Absolutely,
leaves.
absolutely,
Sure.
yeah.
Because parking is going to be at a
There
premium.
might be a little bit of a premium there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of space over there. The city
There is.
businesses,
Yeah.
the city offices aren't open on the weekends, so
Right. And
should
it's a
be
big
able-
it's a big parking lot.
it's a big parking lot there. So it's $10 to get in
$10 tickets. Yep.
for each person,
For each
children
person.
as well.
Well, children, if you're a little bit under 3 or something, don't worry about it.
Okay.
We'll take care of you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we're trying to accommodate most everyone.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what does entry get you then? It gets your meal.
Get your meal, and you can stay and do
Is there games, crafts?
the game. There won't be any crafts.
No crafts,
No
okay.
crafts, but there'll be games, and you can sit and socialize. We're not going to try to push anybody away.
Oh,
so,
sure.
Yeah, we'll probably have seating for like 80 people. or
That's what
something
I was
like
going to
that.
say. Do we
Yeah.
bring our own lawn chairs, or you're going to
You,
have?
you can do that as well, but we're going to try to provide seating for.
Okay,
people.
you're going to have
Yeah.
an awning for
Well, we may have a
shade?
few tents,
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
If it rains, we're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's what I was going to ask
umbrellas or
next.
something,
Do
but
we have a rain plan?
We don't really, but hopefully, we've been getting a few breaks here lately, so we're
We have.
hoping, cross our fingers.
Has it
on
rained
that.
before on one of these?
We have had kind of cold weather before,
Uh-huh.
yeah, but for the most part, we've been lucky.
Good.
So hopefully we'll
Good.
be lucky again.
So we know how much the tickets are and
Yeah.
what we're going to get Saturday from 11 to 1.
Right.
What are the proceeds going to go to?
Proceeds will go to Senior Resources. We are, like Frank said, for rebuilding Muscatine, we are a 501c
Uh-huh.
nonprofit. And so we are always working for funds, and this is our basic fundraiser for the year. Our major funders are the United Way, the City of Muscatine, Community Foundation, Muscatine Charities, and Stanley Health Support Fund, which is part of the Community Foundation.
Sure.
Those are our major people that help us fund, and without them, it'd be hard for us to exist.
Sure.
But we have to do something, and we try to keep our name out there with this
Of course.
with this fundraising picnic. So that's what we're after.
I always think that too, and kind of like what we were talking about with Frank. Fundraising and having an event like this is not just bringing in the money,
No.
but it's getting your name out there.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're
Excuse
trying to
me.
do.
So it's a good idea
Yeah.
because it really keeps people, oh yeah, you know, when
Yeah.
when it's time to write a couple of donation checks, we wanted to
Exactly.
send them your way.
Because, you know, Senior Resources has been around since 1972, which is,
Oh,
you know, over 45 years.
Sure.
And you'd be surprised the number of people that don't realize what we do. We're located up there on 1808 Mulberry, right
Yes.
next to the Hershey Manor
Uh-huh.
residential apartment complex there. But we have a number of people. We try to provide and promote programs and selective quality and selective programs for our seniors and disabled adults.
Uh-huh.
And we try to grow and sustain these programs so these seniors can thrive and age with dignity and confidence. And our programs are more related to the whole gamut of the family as opposed to just building. We have a adult day service which these seniors or dependent adults can come during the day while their caregivers work or run errands, what have you.
Uh-huh.
We have a Meals on Wheels program, which is quite popular. In fact, I delivered a meal to your mother in the towers the other day.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you? Yes.
We do that every day of the week except Sunday. Even on holidays, we do that.
Uh-huh.
We have a chore program which helps with lawn care and snow removal during the winter. We have a home repair person, which like Frank does. He does our home repair. Doesn't do quite on the scale that Frank does, but he does a lot of plumbing work, cleans the gutters. He has helped with a wheelchair-bound person, you know, negotiate his
Sure.
thresholds in his house. He's come up with something like that. So it's all kinds of things that are you wouldn't think that with people in need, but until you get involved with this stuff, you don't realize exactly what they
Right.
need. Yeah.
And you even do things like there's a lady who comes to Senior Resources that cuts people's hair.
Exactly. We have a salon there. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know, that's something that most people would just take for
Yeah,
granted.
yeah.
You just go to the beauty parlor.
Yeah.
But like all of the people that live next door at Hershey Manor, many of them are
come
not
in.
mobile enough with
No,
their own
exactly.
vehicles to get in and out. And
Yeah.
so they can walk next door and get their hair
Yeah.
done. And it
We-
seems like such a small thing, but for them
Oh,
to have
yeah.
the independence
Yeah.
to make a salon appointment
Yeah.
and go get their hair done all on their own.
There's even a whirlpool there, which
Yes.
people, you know, a lot of these people are so feeble that they can't take baths.
Sure.
So we do that for them as well. And finally, we have an outreach person there that, you know, can make referrals, help with energy resistance or food assistance, and refer you to other places in the community where they can help you. And she also does wellness visits and helps with our Christmas basket program during the holidays. So,
Which is wonderful.
yeah, it really is.
There's a lot of folks who really don't have family.
Yeah, exactly.
And so at Christmas time, we a lot of times, well, when my family, we usually adopt
Yeah, that's
someone
nice.
from
Absolutely. Yeah,
from
yeah.
Senior Resources, because I always think, well, everybody thinks of the kids at Christmas, you
Yep.
know, and that's great and that's wonderful and that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you forget that there might be a shut-in elderly person
absolutely.
who really
Yeah.
doesn't have anything special on Christmas, and so
Yeah.
so that's what we usually tend
Yeah,
to
it's
like
nice
to do.
because they get a visit then too, like the
Yes.
volunteers that do the Meals on Wheels, you know. Sometimes that's the only person those shut-in see during the
Oh,
day,
yes.
you know, so it's
Yes.
really important in that aspect as well.
We took shifts doing delivering food pantry to the shut-ins.
Okay, yes.
And they'd hug you and
Yeah.
want to sit and visit with
Right.
you because you might be the only person they talk to
Exactly.
the whole day, which is what I love about our mom being at Hershey Manor. They go down and have coffee
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
morning
yeah.
and socialize, and
Yeah.
that's one thing we all take for granted. We get in and out all day long
Yeah.
with people, but just having another adult to talk to, how nice is that? And they want to stay in their homes.
Yeah, nice.
So,
Beautiful.
and I know another service that you do at Senior Resources that many people rely on is help navigating Medicare
Exactly.
issues.
That's another.
It's a bloody nightmare, and I
It
can
is,
tell you,
yeah.
I went to college for a long, long time, and trying to figure out
Yeah.
which one of these gives you what and which
Yeah.
one to choose
and it's
is a
yeah.
nightmare of red tape.
It's a SHIP program. SHIP stands for
Yes.
Senior Health Insurance Information
Yes.
Program, and it's I think it's funded by the federal government, and it's monitored by the state, but all these people are volunteers, so it's no cost to the individual. So it's really quite a...
It's a
quite a
wonderful
absolutely.
service for people because they really know about each plan.
Yeah.
And there's all these different choices in part A and B and C and D and what gives you what and what doesn't.
It's incredible because
they
save so much money for these people with their prescription drugs, especially.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we've heard of like 220,000 that they save for people a year, and when you divide the number of people they see, it's about 16.5 grand per year per person. You know, that's incredible.
If you're on the wrong program
absolutely.
For your needs,
absolutely.
It can be devastating to you financially.
Yeah.
So that is a wonderful service.
And additionally, we have a durable durable equipment lending closet.
Yes, for
wheelchairs,
a walker,
wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, you know, commodes, that type of thing. So.
Yep, and so you take donations for those as
absolutely.
well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you have one that you don't need anymore,
exactly, we
donate it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Make sure they're in good working order,
right,
and then
right.
send them out. Yeah. So what kind of things can the community do? I know for one thing, we need everybody to come out on Saturday.
That would help.
Yes,
that
to the
would help
cookout.
Yeah, that would really help. And then the other thing that we're trying to do is collaborate with other nonprofits in our area to sort of bring everybody under one administrative umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
To have like one CEO, one accountant, one HR person, that type of thing. Because since I've been involved with the operational program of it, we haven't had an accountant.
Sure.
And we have, you know, and I've been acting as basically the CEO or operations manager.
Uh-huh.
And now we have Joni Axel as interim director, so that's really helped us in that
Sure.
respect. Yeah.
Well, I know this is something that's been talked about
Yeah.
for, oh my goodness, 10 years at least.
Yeah.
I think Mike Johansson came up with this
Yeah,
idea
Mike,
years ago. He was at least one of them.
Yeah.
And he really talked about, we have wonderful network in our community of nonprofits that support families
Right.
and elderly and people with disabilities, and they all have their niche of what they're trying to do.
Right.
And they're all wonderful programs, but each one by themselves, for each one to have a CEO
Right.
and an accountant and an IT person and a marketing
Exactly.
person,
Exactly.
would it not be better for the community, instead of trying to support fully this one and this one and this one and this one, maybe we have an umbrella company that can help provide one that everybody gets to share a little bit, cost effective wise. That might be better for the community, because we can't afford to lose any of these organizations. Crossroads and Senior Resources and MCSA. I mean, we need all of these organizations, but it's becoming more and more of a struggle for every one of them to make ends meet by fully being individualized in that way.
We're speaking of fundraising. That's what we're doing this weekend.
Sure.
But if we had just one big fundraiser for all of them, if you just go out and just try to write grants for just one organization as opposed to like 3 or 4 different ones, I mean that helps the United Way. It helps Community Foundation.
Oh, yes,
all these other communities,
yes.
Muscatine Charities.
Because we don't want to lose any of
No,
them. Because
exactly.
they all have their
Yeah,
need.
yeah,
They all have their
exactly.
place in the community.
But if these
we
people
want
are-
to support them.
Yeah, if these people are just hit up one time, it would help them as well.
Sure, sure. And it's been a vision
Yeah.
for a while, and it's getting
It's
closer
getting
and closer,
closer
isn't
closer
it?
to fruition. Yeah.
It really is.
They've got a board of directors now, so we're in the process of trying to get a CEO. So
Yeah.
maybe within the next year or something might happen.
It might work.
Maybe by 2020, which
Sure.
is as
You know, and I really appreciate the visionary that we've had in our community. You know, people thinking outside of the box.
Really.
And trying to really, everything doesn't have to be the same as it always has been. How can we make it better, but still make sure that we have everything done that we need?
Yeah, right.
You know, and some people are are good thinkers like that.
They are. There's some people that are, like
They
you say,
can really
think outside the box.
stand back and see, I see where this could go.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
We need people like that. We need
Absolutely.
all kinds of people, don't we?
Absolutely, we do.
We
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And I love senior resources. I love all of the things that they do in the
Thank you.
community. I worked side by side with them for many years, even with Barb Kral.
Yeah.
She was the executive director for many, many years, and I've done a lot of work with them off and on because of our Grandparents Raising Grandchildren group
Absolutely,
that I
right,
started
yeah.
at the Y. And I'm involved in an organization called Generations United, which really highlights the blessings that can be had by having all ages together.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
doing things. And one of my favorite projects that they have supported over the years is some legacy projects that are like daycares
Yeah.
that have the children and the
adults
elderly
with
in the
everything.
same
Yeah,
daycare,
yeah, yeah.
and how it's such a win-win for
Oh, yeah,
both of them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the elderly just, it just livens them up to have the little ones all around, and the little ones can learn so
Oh, yeah,
much
my
from the
God.
elderly. And
Yeah, it's fun.
I got to tour and spend a day at one, and it is just so heartwarming to see what a wonderful place it is in the community.
Yeah, that would be something. yeah.
Wouldn't it
Oh,
be?
my, yeah, yeah.
Somebody else was visionary enough
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
able to look ahead and see the possibilities there, and how that could be a win-win. And you guys have just done such a good job with molding and changing to meet the needs of the community.
Yeah, we have tried. I guess
Yeah.
we'd like to be a little more well-known, but that's what we're trying
Oh,
to do
sure,
with this fundraiser.
sure.
So, yeah,
Well, you have been here as long as I can remember.
yeah.
That's
As long as I've been here, too.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. So you're located right next to Hershey Manor.
yeah. Right.
Anybody can stop in there during business hours if they have any questions,
Yeah,
need to
7:30 to
talk
4,
to
yep.
anybody. Yep. Saturday, get on out, bring your family, bring your
Right.
friends, come on down for the cookout.
Right.
And will you have information there, I'm sure, all
Absolutely. We'll
about?
have tickets there as well. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Tickets you can get that day or ahead of time.
You can get them at, most of our people have tickets. You can get them at Senior Resources. So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it shouldn't be an excuse.
All right. 6th year, wow, 6th annual.
Yeah,
So, and we'll see what we're going to do next year with it, right?
exactly.
This
yeah.
year's a trial to see if you like hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
they'll have to vote for that.
we'll see.
We'll see what you
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
That's right. Thank you so much for coming, Pete.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Any last thoughts that I didn't get to ask you?
No, I just think we appreciate the community's support, you know, the city and the United Way and the Community Foundation, all the other people, Muscatine Charities, Muscatine Health Support Fund. We just appreciate those people. They've helped us tremendously. The Stanley family in particular has
Oh,
really
sure.
helped us. Yeah, yeah.
It really does take all of us working together,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it does. It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
Even with the various funding streams, you can't rely too heavily on any one
Yeah.
stream. We need to have all the variety of funding streams.
Exactly.
So that
yeah.
we can perform the services that we need. You know, expenses keep going up every bloody year,
Yeah,
don't
they do. Yeah, yeah. My goodness. Yeah, yeah. And the funding seems to go down. I mean, we have this big tax, this tax cut, but it affects these people at on the bottom end of the scale.
Sure it does.
Nonprofit, it really affects them. So
Oh, yeah.
we need this.
Even at the Y, we're feeling it,
Yeah.
with all the different funding cuts that,
Yeah.
that keep filtering down. You know, the funding coming in doesn't keep coming, or it keeps getting cut lower and lower, but
Yeah.
our expenses keep going
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
difficult to
staff,
negotiate that. Yeah.
staff costs go up every year, the gas and electric,
Yeah.
all those things go up, but the funding keeps going down.
Yeah.
And to come up with some different ideas so that we can all keep
Moving ahead.
moving ahead and doing the things that the community wants us to be doing.
Yeah.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
keep working on it.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you.
so much.
I'll be seeing you Saturday. I'm planning on coming.
Okay.
That's my
If you need,
plan.
if you need a ticket, you know where to get us.
All right.
Okay,
thank you, Pete.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and hang tight if you would while we just close up here for a second. Next week, we have Jennifer DeFosse with the Muscatine Farmers Market. She's going to tell us what's new to expect this year. And then Pam Collins with the Musser Public Library is going to be here. Reminder that we have a regular city council meeting this week at 7 p.m. I've already seen the agenda. It's a doozy. We'll be there a while, trust me. We have a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, tomorrow. So the new parking lot that we put in across from the soccer complex, there'll be a ribbon cutting there, open to the public tomorrow at 5:30. Bear in mind, Hershey is closed from Lucas Street down to Hershey Avenue. So to get to the ribbon cutting, you're going to have to go down to Grandview Avenue and then up that way. Good luck finding a parking spot. You might need it. I might need it. First Thursdays with Katie Lose, the Art Center. My goodness, the things that are going on at the Art Center. I won't go on my usual talk about how wonderful our Art Center is, because I've already done that many times and you know that. But get on out there if you can. The David Hayes Ventana series, that's going to be there until July 9th. And right now the Civil War exhibit's going on until July 3rd. So you'll want to see both of those. But right now, starting, excuse me, my voice is just almost gone. The first Thursday of every month with Katie Lose, 5:15 to 6:45, they do a different fun project each month. This month they're going to do garden stepping stones. It costs like $10 to go. That's all your supplies. I think it's a little less, or maybe it's $15 and $13 if you're a friend of the Art Center. But that's all of your supplies, and you get to make this really nice garden stepping stone. So if you're looking for a fun activity, the first Thursday of every month, 5:15 to 6:45, it's a really fun time. And then next, I just wanted to end by talking to you about, we had Riverbend Food Bank here. Can you pull up that flyer, Ryan? We had Riverbend Food Bank here. Did you see I sent that to you? We had them here, oh my goodness, a couple months ago. They do a lot of wonderful projects on making sure that people that are food insecure have access to food. And they talked a little bit about this when they were here. So they're partnering with the Muscatine School District Tuesday, June 11th. So next Tuesday, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about it tonight. Food distribution from 4:30 to 6. Please don't arrive before 4 because parking will be an issue. Bring a laundry basket if you would. As long as you have a child in the Muscatine School District, there's no questions asked. Bring your grocery basket, bring a laundry basket, and fill it up with all the food that you need for your family, no cost. And we really hope that anybody who's in need takes advantage of that, because that's a wonderful service in our community. And school is out tomorrow. So let's everybody be careful as you're driving around town. Kids will be out of school early. They get out 2 hours early, so 1:30 they'll be out. Let's make sure we keep an eye out for them driving. And then next Tuesday is an opportunity to get some food, because we all know the kids are going to be home and not eating at school. But also remember that they can go to several locations and get summer lunch at no cost. So tap into those resources if need be. We want to make sure that everybody has their needs met here in Muscatine. We look forward to seeing you next week here on Our City, and thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to Frank Iliff, thanks to Pete DeGabriele for sharing the wonderful blessings that they do for families here in our community. Have a good evening.
Our City with Mayor Diana Broderson replays on MPW Channel 9, Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m. Of course, we're live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook. Email us at ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov.